Have you ever noticed events in your life that feel too perfect to be random? Moments where everything seems to align, as if the universe is sending a message just for you? These aren't coincidences. They're synchronicities, and understanding them could completely shift how you see reality, decisions, and the opportunities around you. Stick around. You won't look at life the same way again. 1. Understanding synchronicity, definition and origins. Synchronicity is a concept that might sound mysterious at first, but it's actually quite simple once you break it down. At its core, synchronicity refers to meaningful coincidences, moments when two or more events occur in a way that seems connected, not by cause and effect, but by significance. These are the moments that make you pause and think, wow, how did that even happen? Unlike random coincidences, synchronicities carry a sense of purpose or message, often nudging you toward insight, clarity, or a life-changing decision. The term was first introduced by the renowned Swiss psychologist Carl Jung. Jung was fascinated by the human mind and its connection to the larger universe. He noticed that some coincidences seemed too meaningful to be purely accidental. For example, a patient might dream of a specific symbol and then encounter that same symbol in real life shortly after. Jung realized that these moments weren't just chance. They were signs that our inner world and the outer world can mirror each other in powerful ways. He called this phenomenon synchronicity, describing it as a causal connecting principle, meaning the connection exists outside of typical cause and effect logic. To make it more relatable, think about a time when you were thinking about someone you hadn't spoken to in months, and then they suddenly called or messaged you. Or imagine coming across a book, article, or video that perfectly answers a question you've been struggling with for days. These are classic examples of synchronicity at work. They feel like the universe is giving you a gentle nudge, or sometimes a loud signal, pointing you in the right direction. Understanding synchronicity can completely change the way you perceive life. Instead of seeing events as random or meaningless, you begin to recognize patterns, opportunities, and messages that guide your personal growth. It's not about superstition or magic. It's about cultivating awareness and paying attention to the signs around you. By understanding the origins and definition of synchronicity, you start to notice that life is filled with interconnected moments waiting to reveal themselves, if only you're open to seeing them. Once you grasp this, you'll realize that every coincidence is a chance to learn, grow, and align more closely with your purpose. It's the first step toward living a life that feels guided, intentional, and full of wonder. 2. Coincidence versus meaningful coincidence. Understanding the difference. At first glance, a coincidence and a meaningful coincidence might seem exactly the same, two events happening at the same time, but the difference is subtle, yet powerful. A coincidence is simply a random event. For example, you might bump into someone on the street who happens to be wearing the same shirt as you. It's unusual, maybe amusing, but it doesn't carry deeper significance. It's just chance. A meaningful coincidence, on the other hand, is what Carl Jung called synchronicity. These are moments that feel intentionally aligned with your life, as if the universe is speaking directly to you. They have an emotional or intuitive resonance that goes beyond randomness. Imagine thinking about a solution to a personal problem, only to stumble upon a book, video, or conversation that provides exactly the insight you needed. Or perhaps you've been struggling with a big decision, and a seemingly small, unrelated event suddenly points you in the right direction. That is not mere coincidence. It is meaningful coincidence. The key difference lies in perception and impact. Coincidences are neutral. They may entertain or surprise, but they don't shift your understanding or direction in life. Meaningful coincidences, however, carry messages, insights, or confirmation that something in your life is aligned or misaligned with your goals, intentions, or inner growth. They invite reflection, awareness, and action. Another way to recognize meaningful coincidences is by noticing how they make you feel. There's usually a strong emotional or intuitive response: excitement, clarity, or a sense of awe. For example, meeting someone unexpectedly who changes your perspective on a long-standing issue can feel like a sign, nudging you toward growth. Coincidences rarely evoke that kind of meaningful reaction. Understanding this distinction changes the way you experience life. Once you start noticing meaningful coincidences, you begin to see patterns and connections everywhere, learning to trust your intuition and act on the signals the universe provides. You stop seeing life as random and start seeing it as an intricate web of guidance, timing, and purpose. Recognizing the difference between simple coincidence and meaningful coincidence is essential for anyone who wants to harness synchronicity in their personal growth. It's the doorway to a life where events are no longer random, but meaningful stepping stones toward your goals, insights, and dreams. 3. How synchronicities act as guidance from the universe or subconscious. Synchronicities aren't just random moments that make you pause. They often serve as a form of guidance. Think of them as subtle signposts, gently pointing you toward choices, opportunities, or realizations that align with your highest good. When you experience a meaningful coincidence, it's as if your subconscious mind, or even the universe itself, is giving you a nudge in the right direction. The fascinating part is that synchronicities bridge your inner and outer worlds. Your subconscious is constantly processing information, your thoughts, desires, fears, and intentions, often faster than your conscious mind can. Sometimes it communicates through patterns, symbols, or chance encounters in your daily life. For instance, you might be pondering a career change and then meet someone unexpectedly who provides valuable advice or connections. That encounter isn't just luck. It's your subconscious guiding you toward the path your conscious mind has been seeking clarity on. From a broader perspective, many people view synchronicities as messages from the universe. These moments can signal alignment with your life purpose, confirm you're on the right track, or warn you when something is off. Imagine repeatedly encountering the same symbol, number, or phrase. It might feel uncanny, but that repetition often serves as a nudge to pay attention. By noticing these signs, you can make more informed decisions, avoid pitfalls, and seize opportunities that might otherwise go unnoticed. The key to receiving this guidance is awareness and openness. If you dismiss synchronicities as mere coincidences, you might miss valuable lessons or directions. By staying present, reflecting on your experiences, and trusting your intuition, you start to recognize patterns and messages that provide clarity and insight. In essence, synchronicities are like a conversation between your inner self and the universe. They remind you that life isn't just happening to you randomly. It's actively responding to your thoughts, intentions, and actions. Learning to recognize and act upon these signs allows you to navigate life with greater confidence, purpose, and flow. Once you start seeing synchronicities as guidance rather than chance, every encounter, every coincidence, becomes an opportunity to align more closely with your true path, creating a life that feels intentional, magical, and deeply fulfilling. 4. Signs that a synchronicity is significant. Not every unusual event in life carries a deeper meaning, but when a synchronicity is truly significant, it often comes with unmistakable signs. Recognizing these signs allows you to differentiate between random coincidences and powerful life-guiding moments. Understanding them can help you make better decisions, gain clarity, and align with your purpose. One of the most obvious signs is repetition. When the same number, symbol, word, or scenario appears multiple times in different contexts, it's rarely random. For example, you might keep seeing the number 111 or encountering the same animal symbol repeatedly. These patterns are often the universe's way of grabbing your attention, encouraging you to notice something important in your life. Another sign is emotional resonance. Meaningful synchronicities tend to evoke strong feelings, surprise, awe, excitement, or even a quiet sense of knowing. If a coincidence makes your heart race, gives you chills, or feels deeply meaningful, it's likely significant. Emotional responses act as a signal that the event is aligned with your inner self or life path. Timing is also crucial. Synchronicities often appear at moments when you are seeking guidance or are at a crossroads. Think about the last time you needed clarity on a personal or professional decision, and suddenly a seemingly chance encounter or message provided the answer. These events often arrive just in time, perfectly aligned with your life's unfolding. Another indicator is insight or clarity. Meaningful coincidences often carry an immediate understanding or lesson. It might feel like a light bulb moment where something you've been struggling to understand suddenly clicks. These moments are designed to help you recognize opportunities, avoid mistakes, or confirm that you're on the right path. Finally, synchronicities often ignite action. They aren't meant to be ignored. They invite you to respond, reflect, or make a choice. If a coincidence motivates you to explore something new, reach out to someone, or change direction, it's likely a sign with significance. By learning to recognize these indicators, repetition, emotional resonance, timing, insight, and action, you can transform your perception of life. Instead of seeing events as random, you begin to see them as meaningful signposts, guiding you toward growth, alignment, and greater fulfillment. When you tune into these signs, life starts to feel more connected, intentional, and magical. 5. The role of intuition in recognizing patterns. Intuition is one of the most powerful tools you have when it comes to noticing synchronicities. Think of intuition as your inner compass, a quiet, guiding voice that helps you sense connections, patterns, and opportunities that aren't immediately obvious to the conscious mind. While logic and reasoning have their place, intuition allows you to see the hidden threads linking events, people, and experiences in meaningful ways. When a synchronicity occurs, your intuition often acts as the first signal that something is significant. You might feel a subtle nudge, a gut feeling, or an unexplainable sense of certainty that tells you, pay attention to this. It matters. For example, you could be scrolling through social media randomly and suddenly come across an article that directly answers a question you've been pondering for weeks. That instant recognition isn't coincidence. It's your intuition guiding you to notice the pattern and extract meaning. Developing your intuition begins with awareness. The more present and mindful you are in your daily life, the easier it becomes to sense synchronicities. Small practices like journaling, meditation, or even quiet reflection can help you tune in to your inner signals. When you pause and notice subtle feelings, thoughts, or hunches, you strengthen your ability to recognize patterns that may otherwise go unnoticed. Another important aspect is trusting your instincts. Intuition often speaks softly, and it's easy to dismiss it in favor of logic or skepticism. Yet those quiet instincts are frequently the bridge between your inner awareness and the outer signs the universe presents. By trusting what feels right, you naturally become more attuned to events, coincidences, and subtle nudges that carry meaningful information. Finally, intuition helps you take aligned action. Recognizing a pattern isn't just about noticing it, it's about responding in ways that enhance your life. Your intuitive insights often provide clarity on the next steps. Whether that's pursuing an opportunity, connecting with someone, or making a personal change. In essence, intuition is the lens through which synchronicities become visible and actionable. The more you cultivate it, the more you'll notice the universe, or your subconscious, guiding you. Life shifts from a series of random events into a tapestry of meaningful moments, each one providing insight, direction, and the potential for transformation. 6. Real-life examples of synchronicity. Sometimes the best way to understand synchronicity is through real-life examples. These moments are the aha experiences that make you pause and think, wow, that wasn't random. It meant something. Seeing these patterns in action helps you recognize that meaningful coincidences are not just abstract ideas. They happen every day, often when you least expect them. Imagine you're thinking about reconnecting with an old friend you haven't spoken to in years. Suddenly you run into them at a coffee shop or receive a message from them out of the blue. That meeting or message isn't just chance. It could be a synchronicity nudging you toward rekindling a valuable relationship at exactly the right time. Another common example is guidance in decision-making. Let's say you're struggling to choose a new career path or creative project. You might randomly meet someone who shares the exact insight or resource you needed to move forward. Perhaps a book falls off a shelf with the chapter you've been subconsciously searching for, or a video pops up online that clarifies your next steps. These moments can feel magical, but they often serve as directional signs pointing you toward the right opportunities. Even small, everyday experiences can carry synchronicity. You might repeatedly see a particular number sequence, animal, or symbol. For instance, seeing the same number pattern, like 111 or 333, during important moments can act as a subtle signal that your thoughts and intentions are aligned with your goals. Historical figures and innovators often talk about synchronicities guiding their breakthroughs. Nikola Tesla, for example, described moments of inspiration that seemed to come from outside himself, often triggered by chance observations or dreams that provided solutions to complex problems. What makes these examples powerful is not just the coincidence itself, but the impact they have on your life. Each meaningful coincidence is an opportunity to notice patterns, trust your intuition, and act in ways that create positive outcomes. They remind us that life is not random, but deeply interconnected, with guidance often arriving in the most unexpected forms. By paying attention to these moments, you begin to see that synchronicity is not rare. It's happening all around you. The key is to notice, reflect, and respond, allowing these moments to guide your growth, decisions, and personal transformation. 7. How mindset affects your ability to notice. Synchronicities. Your mindset plays a huge role in whether or not you notice synchronicities. Simply put, the way you perceive the world shapes how open you are to seeing meaningful patterns. If you approach life with skepticism, distraction, or a sense of disconnection, you may miss countless signs that are trying to guide you. On the other hand, a mindset rooted in awareness, curiosity, and openness allows these moments to stand out clearly. One key aspect is expectation and attention. When you are actively paying attention to your surroundings and your inner feelings, synchronicities naturally become more noticeable. For example, if you're focused on a goal or challenge, you might suddenly encounter information, opportunities, or connections that feel perfectly timed. A distracted or closed mindset may dismiss these events as coincidences or random noise. Openness to possibility is another essential factor. When you believe that meaningful coincidences are possible, your brain begins to recognize patterns that might have otherwise gone unnoticed. This doesn't mean forcing meaning where there is none, but it's about trusting that life can communicate in subtle ways. A rigid or overly skeptical mindset can act like a filter, blocking the signs and guidance that the universe, or your subconscious, is sending. Your emotional state also matters. A mindset filled with stress, doubt, or negativity can cloud perception, making it difficult to recognize synchronicities. Conversely, a positive, reflective, and curious mindset sharpens your awareness and amplifies your intuitive signals. When you feel calm, centered, and open, you're more likely to notice those small nudges and meaningful coincidences that can shift your decisions or provide clarity. Finally, a growth-oriented mindset encourages action. Noticing synchronicities is one thing, but responding to them is another. When you believe that life has purpose and that signs can guide you, you are more willing to take inspired action when these moments arise. This combination of awareness, openness, and readiness creates a fertile ground for synchronicities to appear and influence your life positively. In short, your mindset is like a lens. If it's clear, open, and receptive, the world reveals itself as a network of interconnected moments, full of guidance and possibility. Cultivating the right mindset is the first step to transforming everyday coincidences into meaningful, life-changing synchronicities. 8. Ways to consciously invite synchronicities into your life. While synchronicities naturally occur, there are practical ways to consciously invite them into your life. The idea is simple. When you align your mindset, actions, and awareness, you create an environment where meaningful coincidences are more likely to appear. Think of it as tuning your life to a frequency that matches your goals, intentions, and personal growth. One of the first steps is clarity of intention. When you clearly know what you want, whether it's guidance, opportunity, or personal insight, you give your subconscious and the universe a target to align with. Writing down goals, creating vision boards, or simply reflecting on your intentions helps focus your energy and signals that you're ready to receive guidance. Cultivating mindfulness is another powerful tool. When you slow down and pay attention to your thoughts, surroundings, and interactions, you're more likely to notice meaningful coincidences. Mindfulness practices like meditation, journaling, or quiet reflection help you tune into subtle patterns that might otherwise go unnoticed. Openness to new experiences is equally important. Synchronicities often appear in unexpected ways, and a closed mindset can prevent you from recognizing them. Say yes to opportunities, explore unfamiliar places, and engage with new ideas. The more open you are, the more likely you are to encounter moments that carry guidance and insight. Trusting your intuition is key. Often, synchronicities are subtle, and the first instinct is to dismiss them. By learning to trust your gut feelings, you allow yourself to respond to meaningful coincidences in ways that create positive outcomes. Your intuition acts as a bridge between noticing synchronicities and acting on them. Lastly, reflect and act on the signs you notice. Keep a journal of unusual coincidences or moments of clarity. Review them periodically to see patterns and insights. Taking inspired action when you encounter synchronicities strengthens your connection to them and reinforces the cycle of meaningful guidance. By combining intention, mindfulness, openness, trust, and reflection, you create a life where synchronicities are no longer rare surprises, but frequent, powerful guides. These practices allow you to navigate life with confidence, clarity, and a sense of wonder, turning ordinary moments into extraordinary opportunities. 9. Scientific and psychological perspectives on meaningful coincidences. While synchronicity is often discussed in spiritual or philosophical contexts, science and psychology also offer fascinating insights into why meaningful coincidences happen. Understanding these perspectives can help you see that synchronicities are not just mystical experiences. They're part of the human mind's natural to perceive patterns and meaning in the world. From a psychological standpoint, Carl Jung's original concept of synchronicity emphasized the connection between the inner world of the mind and outer events. Jung suggested that meaningful coincidences occur when the unconscious mind aligns with external reality. Essentially, your thoughts, desires, and intentions can manifest as patterns that appear coincidentally in your environment. This doesn't require a supernatural explanation. Rather, it highlights how perceptive and interconnected the human mind can be. Cognitive science also explores how humans are pattern-seeking creatures. Our brains are wired to recognize relationships, sequences, and cause and effect, even in seemingly random events. This pattern recognition helps us navigate the world efficiently, but also makes us sensitive to synchronicities. When something aligns with your internal thoughts or goals, it stands out from the background of everyday life, creating a sense of meaningful coincidence. Quantum physics is another area often referenced when discussing synchronicity. While it's not definitive proof, some interpretations suggest that consciousness and reality are interconnected in ways we don't yet fully understand. This opens the door to the idea that our thoughts and intentions could subtly influence events, making meaningful coincidences more likely when we are aligned with our goals or purpose. Finally, neuroscience highlights the role of intuition and subconscious processing. Your subconscious mind constantly processes vast amounts of information beyond your conscious awareness. Often, synchronicities occur when your subconscious recognizes patterns or opportunities before your conscious mind does. This explains why these events can feel sudden, magical, or perfectly timed. They reflect a deeper, unseen level of awareness. By combining psychological, neurological, and even quantum perspectives, science suggests that synchronicities are not merely random. They are meaningful moments that arise when your inner world aligns with the outer world, providing insight, guidance, and opportunities. Understanding this can make you more attentive, open, and confident in noticing these occurrences, transforming your perception of life from random chaos to a web of meaningful connections. 10. Practical steps to apply. Synchronicity for personal growth and manifestation. Understanding the synchronicity is one thing, but applying it in your life is where the real transformation happens. By consciously engaging with meaningful coincidences, you can harness them as tools for personal growth, decision-making, and manifestation. The first step is developing awareness. Pay attention to unusual events, coincidences, and patterns that occur in your daily life. Keep a journal to record these moments, noting your thoughts, feelings, and circumstances at the time. Over time, patterns emerge, revealing insights that might otherwise go unnoticed. Awareness is the foundation. It trains you to recognize guidance when it appears. Next, practice clarity of intention. Know what you want to manifest or understand. Whether it's clarity in career, relationships, or personal growth, clearly defining your goals aligns your energy with the opportunities and coincidences that support them. When your intentions are focused, synchronicities naturally appear as confirmations or guidance. Trust your intuition. When a meaningful coincidence occurs, notice how it feels in your body and mind. Your intuition acts as a compass, helping you decide which synchronicities to act upon and which to observe without forcing. Trusting your instincts strengthens the connection between your inner guidance and the outer signs you encounter. Another essential step is taking inspired action. Synchronicities often serve as prompts, nudging you to act. If you encounter an opportunity, insight, or connection that feels aligned, follow through. Action transforms potential into reality, making the guidance from synchronicities tangible. Reflect and integrate lessons. After acting on synchronicities, take time to reflect on outcomes and insights. Ask yourself what each experience teaches about your path, mindset, or personal growth. This reflection deepens understanding and prepares you for future synchronicities. Finally, cultivate openness and gratitude. Being open to new experiences and appreciating the guidance you receive enhances your receptivity. Gratitude creates positive energy that attracts more meaningful coincidences, reinforcing the cycle of awareness, insight, and manifestation. By practicing awareness, clarity, intuition, action, reflection, and gratitude, you transform synchronicities from random occurrences into powerful tools for growth. Life begins to feel more connected, intentional, and magical. You start noticing that every coincidence is actually an opportunity, a sign guiding you toward your highest potential and helping you manifest the life you desire. Remember, meaningful coincidences are guiding you toward your highest path. Repeat this. I am open, aware, and aligned with the universe. Comment this affirmation below and share your synchronicity experiences.